Welcome back, YouTube subscribers. Thanks for watching. Whoa, gonna take me out there, buddy. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for liking the video. We've had a lot of people liking the videos here lately. That really helps us out, trying to build an audience. Once again, this is not financial advice. This is just education, entertainment purposes only. We've been discussing the books Multiple Streams of Income by Robert Allen, and discussing the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. I'd like to discuss some stuff today. They're mowing everywhere, trying to get the area looking good, I guess, for the 4th of July coming up here soon. They've been kind of behind, seem like, though. But anyway, back to what we was discussing. We are in some crazy times where it looks like we're having the communists take over the entire world, and people are trying to figure out where to put their money. People are still piling into the stock market. Guys like Michael Berger saying, hey, it's the biggest bubble in history, it's going to come down. We've seen what happened in the Caracas stock market. It went up for 33 years before it crashed. Or no, that's not right. It went up 33 years before it started going hyperbolic. And then it went hyperbolic until 2021, like March, April, or May. I can't remember the exact time, but sometime in the beginning of 2021, it crashed 99.8%. And the last information I was able to find on it, it had recovered 100% from the fall. Which means if you bought in at the bottom, you made 100% on your money. But it fell 99%. And it had to go up like 4 million something percent to get back up to whatever it was, 27 million or whatever it was, 2,700,000, whatever it was, because it had like 5,500% gains every year since like 2016, somewhere around in there. That's after having 100% gains in the 80s. It's just one of those things. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. So Warren Buffett says we're raising prices. Everybody's raising prices. We're seeing substantial inflation. I keep saying that wrong. I keep saying significant inflation, but it's not significant. It's substantial inflation. So if we're in substantial inflation, do we have 33 years like the Venezuelan stock market before we go hyperbolic? Ooh, fresh blacktop. And what's going to happen with theirs? Is Michael Burry right, and they're going to crash the whole thing so it doesn't go hyperbolic? You see the deer? It's going to go super hyperbolic before it crash. I don't know. But Warren Buffett recently warned about a lost decade, and he eventually, he said something about, from the 40s to the 60s, there was no gains made in the stock market. I don't know if that's true or not. can tell you this, the people that were getting paid dividends, they were making gains. And the people that was reinvesting those dividends, they were making significant gains if they were in the right companies. Now, that may not be true with Joe Schmo's whatever car dealership or something, some kind of crazy go nowhere stock. But if you were in stuff like Coca-Cola and some of them other, you fared very well. We are getting blacktop all over everything. That's not good. Anyway, back to Robert Kiyosaki and them and Cashflow. I played the Cashflow game, and it's a very, very good game. Used to play it with the boys all the time. It really teaches you to build businesses and to buy stocks and stuff to pay dividends. Those kind of things really can make a difference over the long run. I know everybody wants to get rich tomorrow. They don't want to get rich for sure. They'd rather get rich quick. And that doesn't really get a lot of views on YouTube, telling people, hey, it's going to take a while to get rich. Something else that don't get a lot of views is telling people they have to work hard. Because no one wants to work hard. No one wants to put in the time or the hours or anything else it takes to do it. We have a soft generation that wants to be spoon-fed. Remember this. Hard times produce strong men. Strong men produce good times. Good times produce weak men. Weak men produce hard times. It is a never-ending cycle. I don't know who said it, but there's a whole lot of truth there. A whole lot of truth. There sure is some beautiful country out in here. Out in the mountains and the hills and drive and just see God's beautiful creation. If you have small kids at home, I recommend getting the game Cashflow for Kids and Monopoly. I seen this meme the other day. It's talking about Monopoly. It said, imagine just going through life, playing the game Monopoly, and going around the board and collecting your $200 and never doing anything with it to make more money. You're going to lose. You'll lose the game of Monopoly. Because there's things that come through in life that $200 won't cover. It's the same is true about life, because you're going to have surgeries, you're going to have car accidents, you're going to have stuff break down, and that $200 salary that you're getting every week at your job isn't going to cover everything. You've got to have multiple sources of income. Take that money and create an investment to make a second income. That's something Warren Buffett said. Teaching your kids from an early age about money. Now, my wife disagrees with this. She thinks, oh no, the kids should not know anything about it, about your personal finances or anything else. But I disagree. Dave Ramsey disagrees too. If you ain't going to teach your kids kids who will. You need to teach them. This curve we're coming up on, I once went around at 75 miles an hour. I came into it and I cut it as hard as I could. And I laid on my brakes and I spun around 3 times right here in the road. And when I come out of it, I turned the other direction on that side of the road. It's a miracle from God I lived. Absolute miracle. When I got to the curve, I just cut it as hard as I could, laid 1 foot on the gas and 1 foot on the brake, and I just spun all the way around it. Just an absolute miracle. I'm not dead. I lost a good friend there in that curve when I was in high school. And I was road racing was the reason why I about wrecked. I was on the curve before I realized I didn't know this road that well those days. But it is what it is. So imagine going through life just collecting your salary and never doing anything else to add value to your life, to add value to others, or to create an income. How would you ever survive? I know how a lot of people do it. They buy stuff, and then when they get to a point in their life, and I've been there too, so you're going through a divorce, or you got an illness, or you've lost your job, you got to try to keep your car paid for, so you start selling your pistols, or your rifles, or your bows, or your boat, or your four-wheeler, or whatever else you get your hands on. Or like me, I had to sell my cows years ago when I got divorced. Very, very sad thing. I was never able to recuperate my cattle. I've always wanted to get back into cattle. But now Bill Gates and that bunch are about to kill the cattle business too. No, Biden says, oh, Americans can only have 1 cheeseburger a month. How long are the American people going to let tyrants rule over them? That is a good question. Vote those suckers out. Vote them out. The problem is, though, when you go to try to vote them out, it's a huge selection process. So, if it's a huge selection process, if you're not selected, you're not getting in. So they basically keep out anybody who would try to set things straight. And that's very sad. Very, very sad. So when you're playing Cashflow, and I'll tell you another good game to play with your kids, and that's Payday, because that teaches them how to budget and stuff and try to get through the month. And it also teaches them to buy businesses, because you buy those businesses and you can sell them throughout your game and make money. The problem is you don't make money from your businesses while you own them. I always found that odd about Payday. That even though you bought all these businesses, you don't get to keep the money. I mean, you don't get money, you don't increase your salary every month of what you get. But anyway, that's another great game to play with your kids, teach them financing, teach them about money. Because you sure don't want to dump them out there in the world on their own and them not know a thing about use it, how to multiply it, how to increase themselves. It's the surest way to set your child up for failure is not teach them that they need to be entrepreneurial, that they need to save their money and invest it, that they need to buy cash flowing assets. It is, however, not very popular. If you had so many people just tell their kids, oh, go to school, go $100,000 in debt, get you a business education or whatever education, and then, you know, go to work somewhere. Oh yeah, I'll tell you where you end up. Putting $100,000 in your business education, unless you go to the right school. You end up at Save-A-Lot or something, making $10 an hour and working 50 to 60 hours a week for $10 an hour. You know, you bring home about $400, $430 a week or something like that. So that's going to really pay off $100,000 worth of student loans. But you're in management, so, you know. But that's the reality of the world we live in. So many teenagers going out and getting these bogus degrees, like a degree in like I don't know, just degrees in philosophy or some kind of crazy nonsense, no job, and then having to move back home to live with their parents, you know, because they couldn't find a job. It's just part of it. So teach your kids to be entrepreneurial. Teach your kids to be self-reliant, depend on themselves. Teach your kids to learn how to invest, learn how to find a good deal. Teach them to start businesses. It's so important today to start businesses. Be entrepreneurial. Especially since there's no job security anymore. As we see AI and robots take over and put so many jobs obsolete, you're going to see a lot more people struggling to get by or having to live on the government. Excuse me. It's just one of those things. Thanks everybody for watching. Please give a thumbs up, subscribe, share, comment below. If you want to contact us, be on the podcast, please go to Your Wealth Plan Podcast on Facebook or Instagram. If you'd like to listen to the podcast, we are on Google. It's Your Wealth Plan Podcast on Google, Spotify, RadioPublic, Breaker, and PocketCasts. Thanks for listening. Thanks for joining in. Y'all have a blessed day.